A life forged in bondage. The early years of Jean-Jacques Dessalines. Jean-Jacques Dessalines, the man who would one day lead Haiti to freedom, began his life in chains. Born around 1758 on a plantation near Cap Français, Saint-Domingue, present-day Haiti, Dessalines' early years were marked by the brutal realities of slavery. His African name remains unknown, lost to the dehumanizing system that sought to erase his identity. He was given the surname of his enslaver, a common practice that underscored the power dynamics of the plantation system. Dessalines' days were spent laboring under the scorching Caribbean sun in the colony's vast sugarcane fields. Sugar was the lifeblood of Saint-Domingue's economy, a source of immense wealth for French colonists, and it came at a steep human cost. Dessalines, like countless other enslaved Africans, toiled relentlessly, enduring the lash and the deprivation of his basic human rights. The injustices he witnessed, the casual cruelty inflicted upon him and his fellow enslaved people, would leave an indelible mark on his soul. As Dessalines grew older, his strength and work ethic did not go unnoticed. He was eventually promoted to the position of commandeur or foreman, a role that placed him in a precarious position within the plantation hierarchy. He was responsible for overseeing the work of other enslaved Africans, often subject to punishments if they failed to meet the demanding quotas set by the plantation masters. This experience, while brutalizing, provided Dessalines with a glimpse into the workings of power and the dynamics of control. It also fostered in him a deep sense of responsibility for his fellow enslaved people. The seeds of rebellion, however, had already been sown. The brutality of plantation life, the constant degradation, and the denial of basic human dignity fueled a burning desire for freedom within Dessalines. The stories of resistance whispered among the enslaved, tales of marronage, escape to the mountains, and covert acts of sabotage spoke to a spirit of defiance that refused to be broken. Dessalines, hardened by his experiences, carried these stories with him, waiting for the moment when the chains of oppression would finally be shattered. From plantation to battlefield, the making of a revolutionary. His experiences as a foreman, while fraught with complexities, provided Dessalines with valuable skills. He learned to navigate the brutal intricacies of the plantation system, understanding both the language of the oppressors and the unspoken communication amongst the enslaved. This understanding would prove crucial in the years to come. It was during this period that Dessalines' path crossed with a free black man named Dessalines, from whom he purchased his freedom. This act of self-liberation was a pivotal moment, marking a turning point in his life. Newly freed, Dessalines found himself in a society deeply divided along racial and social lines. Saint-Domingue, despite its wealth, was a powder keg of tensions. The white planter class held a tight grip on power, while free people of color, despite their legal freedom, faced constant discrimination and prejudice. At the bottom of this hierarchy were the enslaved Africans, the backbone of the colony's economy, yet treated with unspeakable cruelty. It was in this volatile environment that Dessalines found his purpose. He witnessed firsthand the injustices faced by free people of color, their aspirations for equality constantly thwarted. He listened to their stories, shared their frustrations, and began to understand the systemic nature of the oppression that plagued Saint-Domingue. His experiences on the plantation, the brutality he had both endured and been forced to participate in, fueled his growing anger. As tensions escalated across the colony, whispers of rebellion began to turn into organized resistance. Secret societies emerged amongst the enslaved, plotting uprisings and planning their liberation. Dessalines, with his first-hand knowledge of the plantation system and his growing network of contacts, found himself drawn to these clandestine movements. He recognized the need for a united front against the colonial power structure, a force that transcended the divisions between enslaved Africans and free people of color. The fight for Haitian liberation was about to begin, and Dessalines was ready to answer the call. The fires of rebellion ignite Dessalines and the 1791 uprising. The year 1791 marked a turning point in the history of Saint-Domingue and the life of Jean-Jacques Dessalines. The simmering resentment among the enslaved Africans, fueled by years of brutal oppression and inspired by the ideals of the French Revolution, finally boiled over. In August of that year, a massive slave revolt erupted in the northern plains of the colony. This was no isolated uprising. It was a carefully coordinated rebellion that spread like wildfire, engulfing the entire northern province within days. Dessalines, now a free man but still bearing the scars of his enslavement, immediately joined the ranks of the rebels. His experience as a foreman, his understanding of plantation logistics, and his growing reputation as a leader made him a valuable asset to the burgeoning revolution. He fought with a ferocity born of years of pent-up rage, his courage and military acumen quickly becoming apparent. The early months of the uprising were marked by chaotic but successful attacks on plantations. The rebels, armed with whatever weapons they could scavenge, machetes, farm tools, captured muskets, fought with a desperate fury, driven by a thirst for freedom and vengeance. They burned down plantations, killed slave owners, and freed thousands of their brethren. The colony, once a beacon of French colonial power, was plunged into chaos. Dessalines played a pivotal role in these early victories. He rallied his fellow revolutionaries, urging them to fight for their freedom with every fiber of their being. His bravery on the battlefield, his strategic mind, and his unwavering commitment to the cause of liberation earned him the respect and admiration of his comrades. He emerged as a key leader in the revolution, his star rising alongside other prominent figures like Toussaint Louverture, a skilled tactician who would soon become a central figure in the fight for Haitian independence.